Alrighty, I am back. What are you guys voting for? It's pretty close so far. That is within the line of expectations. Main event obviously means that it's the biggest prize pool of the night. $200 in total, $150 for the winner of this best of 5, $50 for the loser. So I guess everyone will always be happy to play a little best of 5 and walk away with at least $50. That's like making semifinals in the weekly, guys. So that is pretty good. But hey, if it's just a single series, obviously you want to win. And I think Juanito is also looking for some feel-good vibes, because I don't know if you would agree with this statement, Bully, but I feel SpeCial not making playoffs in NA is the biggest surprise of all 3 regions in the Swiss format.
I mean, it's definitely up there. I would say that Asia's had a few curveballs as well, but it's certainly the biggest upset in NA.
For sure. But Asia, I feel like we had surprises, but in the end, we still had the favorites at least advancing into the playoffs, right? Like in the end, on the final day, Oliveira made it, Firefly made it, Cyan made it. So it was surprising to see them be 2-2, but they all still at least made it into the playoffs. Firefly did get eliminated today, but that's not what I meant, guys. I was talking about group stage, not playoffs. I know that it's surprising to see Firefly lose in round 1 of the lower bracket. Let me just invite you as well. Yes, okay, you're already there. You're so good, Bully.
It's not my first rodeo, mate.
Alright. What is happening over here? HeroMarine does show up, Birdgo. I ask Gabe every now and then. Gabe has played quite a few times in the Big Brain Bouts. He has had a couple wins on the Friday night, but I also gave him some very tough opponents. I think one of the worst main events we've ever had, enough time has gone by that we can joke about it, was Reynor against HeroMarine, actually. I was a little bit disappointed in that one, because it almost felt that Gabe didn't even really try. He also said on his stream he wasn't in the mood, he wasn't feeling it, and he was just going to do something silly, and I was like, come on, Gabe, then why are we accepting this invite? But, you know, that's over like 30 weeks ago or something. I'm obviously very good friends with Gabe. All has been good and forgiven, but yeah, we're going to have a rematch in the Europe regionals, mate. But it's going to be a difficult one for Reynor with the ping.
Yeah, I think so. Nice that he bounced back against Mana today. I think the map 1 had the potential to be a little bit of a tilter, just based on how he lost it, but pretty solid from then on. So encouraging to see. I know firsthand, obviously, how many distractions there are out in Korea. So good to see that the young little D-Gen is pulling it together.
YoungYakov is asking me if I want to be a referee. I said, nah, I'm not expecting any pause, please. So I think they are good. Main event, guys. BASILISK Big Brain Bouts number 57. A pretty insane number. 57 times. We gave away $500 on the Friday night. And we are not planning on stopping anytime soon. We've got an exciting week. I guess tomorrow is WTL for us. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Today was the start of WTL Codas. Because I was planning on all the co-streaming, but I also have to do WTL Codas tomorrow. Tomorrow, BASILISK, guys. Reynor will be playing, Trigger will be playing, and the man who is not a BASILISK member, but we are teaming up for this season, ShoWTime, will also be playing as we take on the Starlight Twinkle in a new season of WTL Codas, the summer season this time around. Let's do it. Main event, BBB. In the bottom right side, was a little bit, I wouldn't say disappointed, but I kind of thought he was going to get the job done in the final round of the Swiss format in his EVZ against Bly. But it turned out that the Ukrainian veteran and all his weird tricks and antics were a bit too much to overcome. So unfortunately for him, he was eliminated. Hey, the good news about being eliminated is that you're now eligible for the BBB again. This is the Russian Zerg Platinum Heroes, YoungYakov.
Y a la izquierda, mi amigo Juanito, jugando en el pasado para equipo Hyper One SpeCial.
You're trying to outdo Lino over here, mate? Trying to speak better Spanish than Lino?
I gotta do something to one up Lino. He's more handsome than me. He's probably wealthier than me. I'm kind of sick of it, to be honest.
He's a lot worse in Starcraft than you, though. So.
Well, I don't know about a lot worse, but
I've seen him play, mate. It looks very intense, but not a lot is happening.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I have to say that you brought it up already, that game on Royal Blood. I don't know that I've ever laughed harder watching a game of StarCraft than that one. It is maybe the most comedically incredible game of StarCraft that's ever been played.
Yeah, it was actually, that was incredibly funny. But if people have no idea what we're talking about, once upon a time we had what we call the Community Rumble, which is similar to the Big Brain Bouts, but then it's just for players that are not necessarily great at StarCraft, but watch my stream. And Lino played a game against, I think it was Winged's Terran, right? Was it Winged? Yeah. And Lino got dropped, Widowmine dropped, in 3 different bases. And everywhere he tried to take care of it, he was 2 seconds too late. And I cannot make this up, but it went from like boom in the third, boom in the natural, boom in the main, back to boom in the third, boom in the natural, boom in the main. And the number of dead probes just kept on going up for like 1 minute and 20 seconds. And it was incredibly funny. I was dying of laughter. Bully summed it up perfectly in an interview afterwards, where he's like, Lino got very unlucky losing 7 probes, I mean 11 probes, I mean 14 probes, I mean 70 probes, I mean 23 probes, I mean 27 probes. It's just an incredibly funny set of circumstances, and I'm totally with you, mate. That was one of the funny things that I've seen in StarCraft as well.
Well, they say you should only roast the people you love, and we love Lino, but boy oh boy did he deserve a roast or two for that one.
Proper classic. Juanito opening up with a Reaper fast expand, barracks on the low ground. You would think that this is normally a 2-racked opening, but it's not. He's doing it of a single barracks.
Yeah, I think it is nice just to get that that natural wall up very quickly. That is definitely a nice part of it. A little unlucky that he's on the top left side of this map, so that his add-ons have to face out, obviously. But I do understand, I think, why this is the sort of favored opening for a lot of Terran players, because the risk to just sort of randomly dying is a lot lower. And I think it's also nice in the event that they go for an early pool to try and pressure that low ground CC. I think being able to kind of seal things up earlier is a little bit reassuring.
Xiao is asking if we have a VOD for that. I do believe that it was clipped, but I don't have a link to the clip. I don't know why I actually didn't babysit that more properly, because it was incredibly funny.
I don't have a video of the game itself. I do have a video of the interview that you and I did before the series, but I don't think I have the actual clip of the Lino game, unfortunately.
Ooh, links, by the way, on hold position. Nice little trap here by YoungYakov, as he's going to try to get a surround on these Reapers and Hellions. Doesn't quite get everything, but he gets a decent amount. And if I was Juanito, whatever move out I had planned, I wouldn't really continue with it. Juanito says, well, Roddy, you're not me for a reason. I'm still going to go with it. I think it's questionable, but let's see what he can get done.
Yeah, I think that's so nice to slow it down. Not only just the units you get, but it makes this push show up a little bit later. You don't have nearly as much anti-Ling army to work with here, and that's becoming evident as he's forced to lift up all the Marines and the tank into that medevac. He loses the Hellion just because there's not enough capacity here, and even though he's allowed to siege up on this position, I mean, I think YoungYakov is fine with that. Who really cares? You're not really threatening the hatchery, you're not threatening the mineral line. This is perfectly fine so far. You know he can't go into the main because there's just really not enough army to be particularly threatening. So yeah, I think this is a very, very good start to the defense on this third base for YoungYakov.
SpeCial does manage to get a second medevac to the bottom side of the map. A few more Marines, second tank shows up, so now it becomes a little bit more annoying potentially to deal with. But these tanks are still so far away that if I was YoungYakov, I would almost say, why not just take the base in the center of the map? Like, maybe that wasn't your original game plan, but does it really hurt you that much? Is it really going to slow you down a whole lot? I don't think so. And Juanito has a bit of a weird build, SpeCial that is. We like to call him Juanito just because it sounds awesome. He's a 2-base Terran, and he is planning on staying in 2-base Terran for a little while longer as he drops 2 more Rexes. So it's 5 Rex, 2-base. Something we see a lot in TVP, Bully. I don't see it a whole lot in TVZ.
Yeah, I normally you might think that you know, this is just kind of a little bit too committed, especially considering how, you know, how little pressure has been put on the Zerg thus far. I mean, you mentioned it earlier, these tanks are just so far away that even if the Lings come in to contest the Marines here at the top of the ramp, the tanks actually don't even hit far enough to help them out. So really kind of a curious situation overall. He's going to try to move this spore in just to make sure that the medevacs can't float up there. Queens could probably stand to walk away so they don't take too much free tank fire, but you know, again, not a whole lot of damage, and in the meantime there is a large group of Lings that are going across the map just to check for that third base. There's not a third CC on location, obviously. There's not a third CC building in the main either. So instead, it looks like we might go for a little bit of a Bane bust, which is an interesting choice, considering that I think a few tanks in a good position really have the potential to basically turn that whole thing around. But as I say that, in sort of an anti-timing, Juanito wants to move across the map.
Yep,
right,
especially
as these Banes and Lings are getting
absolutely no idea that all of these Lings are here. A couple of Lings are leading the pack, and he's moving the Lings back to make sure that the depot does not get raised. Here come the Banelings. SpeCial is going to lose a silly amount of workers here, if not almost every single worker that he's got, because I really don't think he's got enough firepower. And SpeCial says, I know, I don't care, I'm just going to go ahead and try to win the game with this army. I have the feeling that YoungYakov should always be able to crank out enough units here. I think he can eventually force a fight on creep. But let's see, this is it. SpeCial is incredibly all in as a 2-base Terran. He needs to take the fight of his life, and I have a hard time believing that he's going to be able to do that. I think the queens alone are almost enough to defend there. If they would have actually transfused each other, they will not transfuse each other. They're just going to run back. But I mean, the natural SpeCial, it's all in shambles.
Yeah, he is getting quite a bit of value out of these last few Marines here that are stimming. I mean, they do have combat shields as well.
Hello?
Actually, okay, there we go. Oof, does not target down those Banes, so unfortunately loses quite a few Marines to that one shot. But in the background of this, we've got 21 workers. The main totally in shambles.
It is 49 army supply right now. SpeCial could now immediately teleport all of his battle units to the other side of the map. That'd be massive. YoungYakov knows that he's going to lose his Baneling Nest, so he's going to rebuild his Baneling Nest. This is the moment where YoungYakov feels that he's got enough. He's got a single Bane in the mix, but I can't believe I'm saying this. A single Bane actually had a lot of potential there, because one Baneling connection is all he really needs. SpeCial knows that he needs more than he's been able to get so far. It's been surprisingly good, I gotta say. I'm surprised that this game is like close, competitive. I still feel that YoungYakov should win it, but he's also one bad fight away from losing it.
SpeCial's done so well to retain all of the tanks as well. Just with those medevacs, several hot pickups making it possible to preserve those. But as we're running away from these Banes, we are losing quite a few Marines on the retreat. He does stem in on the bottom side towards his third base in the linear position, get a couple more Banelings. And actually, it does feel like there's a window.
Yeah, there is a tiny window, but the window is closing. We cannot ignore the fact that YoungYakov also has +1 carapace. SpeCial does not have any armor on his unit, so it really, this is it. It's now or never for Juanito on the European server as he kills another queen, and he's trying to micro these Marines to the very best of his ability. One more queen comes in from the bottom, absorbs a tank shot or two. YoungYakov is just waiting for a few extra Lings. Maybe he's going to try to morph a few more Lings into Banelings. That is exactly what he does. He also has a tiny Baneling flank. Perhaps he's waiting for that tank to unsiege, but I don't think that tank is unsieging anytime soon. And that tank is putting in God's work. 28 kills already. Is there a world where 21 army supply Juanito wins this game? By the way, that one tank is stuck here. He unsieged it a long time ago. There is a tank stuck in the bottom side of the map, as he's actually now a 3-tank Terran. And he's actually going to get this base as well. YoungYakov is now dropping to becoming a 2-base Zerg. He did try to reestablish the third base that he lost a while ago, as this tank is now just going to siege up here again. What a bizarre first game of the BASILISK Big Brain Bouts main event.
I think this is a risky decision from YoungYakov to kind of move across the map, but he does decide not to go to the natural and instead try to pick off some reinforcements, which I think is a good choice. But we're really in danger on this triangle third base position. You cannot move those Banes in by themselves. They'll get cleaned up by the tanks. He's easily going to get the cancel. Oh, no, we're instead targeting the Banes. He should... Cancel. Yeah, there we go. Focus the hatchery. Very good.
Alright, maybe this is it then. We have Lings coming in from the top left. Can the Banelings find the connections with the Marines that they are looking for? Those were pretty good, but now that one tank that was stuck earlier is actually chipping in this fight as well. Queens of creep are incredibly slow and will start falling. This is maybe where the tank can really put in a few more valuable shots. YoungYakov still has a 25 worker lead, but he's a 2-base Zerg. Nobody ever wants to be a 2-base Zerg, but he's a 2-base Zerg that's ahead in upgrades. That's also not something that we say very often. SpeCial has not built an SCV in forever. He lost 27 out of the 48 SCVs that he made. Spore crawlers are now perhaps the last line of defense, keeping those medevacs at bay. As Lings are trying to pick up more reinforcements one more time. Tiny upgrade advantage on the side of the Lings, but it's not good enough against that many Marines. And this is actually an incredibly close, messy, sloppy first game. But Juanito has maintained that 20 army supply lead for like the last 3 minutes.
I think in the last 30, 45 seconds is where Juanito has really gotten the advantage here. He gets a lot of lings on the backside towards the natural that we're trying to cut off reinforcements. Ooh, these Banes do get a couple of good hits, though, but this tank is in such a good position, and mostly Queens are just not going to cut it against Bio.
It's a lot of Queens, though. It's 9 Queens in total. Lynx trying to pick off some human resources. We have 3 hatcheries on the production tab. YoungYakov is going full dark here, and he's trying to do whatever the hell he can to spend his money. He does not feel that he can afford to use any queens to inject. He needs queens to buffer some of these tank shots, as we have a couple of flanking links coming in. Banelings looking for connections. One final Bane is not good enough. One of the tanks does get picked off by Zerglings. The other tank gets picked off as well by queens, but there is one last tank. That is that tank that was stuck earlier. 50 army supply for Juanito. These Marines are stimming for days, and I think he's done it. He has done it. 21 SCVs in a dream. I never thought I would call blackjack in a game of StarCraft 2, but the perfect 21, mate. SpeCial takes the 1-0 lead on Europe.
Bonkers game. He killed, in just for reference, in that game, 12 minutes, 45 seconds, 288 lings.
And
just
I think
ridiculous.
He was trading like 2-1 or something like that. Like I saw 7,000.
Yeah, 78.
Yeah.
Oh yes. You're absolutely right. About 2-1.
Yeah. I saw 7,000 against 13,000 units resources lost. I just want to show you guys this beautiful graph. You would think that the doctors declared him dead, flatline, no heartbeat, but there was a heartbeat, guys. Those Marines had a heartbeat, and they somehow brought home the W. Crazy. 1-0 lead for Juanito as we now hop over to the American server. Crazy. Fun stuff. I mean, not a standard game, not the sick macro game maybe that some people look for, but that was on a knife's edge, if I've ever seen a TVZ on a knife's edge with a very ghetto economy.
Yeah, that was a tough game. I think a tough game to pull off, obviously, for SpeCial. I think that's also a tough mental game, just to kind of understand your position and recognize that you are in a weak but ultimately not hopeless scenario, and pulling out all the stops, making a lot of hot pickups on those tanks as he was rotating between the triangle and the linear thirds, just to keep those safe from the lings. Not a whole lot of people, I think, would have stuck it out that long, but pulled it off.
And in a weird way, that tank that was stuck for a while, it actually came in really handy. Because we had so little in the center, we played it cautiously, and we got really good trades with that one hero tank in the center of the map that had 30 plus kills. Maybe if SpeCial has more tanks, he pushes harder and he actually overcommits and he loses. So perhaps saved by the tank that got stuck. YoungYakov did send me a message after that game as we hopped onto the American server, and he said, "I throw hard." ... Yeah, it was indeed a bit of a throw, but still a very fun game. And hey, it's the best of 5. It's not a best of 3. No reason to panic just yet. But a fun start to our series, though. I'm already entertained, Bully.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna pick a player to give people more entertaining games than the average player, SpeCial is one of those people. It just feels like he's always kind of got himself in weird positions, and I don't mean that as an insult. I think that's a testament to his ability to kind of stick it out when things aren't exactly the way that you want them to be, and find value where you can.
Could maybe be a little bit of the experience as well, right? The proper veteran that he is just knows when to find a win condition and how to go for it. Wow, we've got a crazy set of openings over here. We'll talk about that soon. In the top right side of Ghost River, taking the 1-0 lead, winning on the European server as we play game 2 on the American server. It is our Mexican Terran player, one of the best foreign Terrans to ever do it. I think we can safely say that. He's been around forever, started off in Boudoir. It is a SpeCial, also known as Juanito, previously known as Major, and yeah, there's a laundry list of other nicknames that we are absolutely not going to mention.
And in the top left, this is where I would flex on Lino with my Russian-speaking ability if I had any, but I don't, so I won't. It is the red Zerg player playing for Platinum Heroes, YoungYakov.
Were you watching my stream yesterday when I played a ladder game? And somebody wrote something to me in Russian, and I used Google Translate to translate it.
No, I wasn't.
It was very funny. Like, somebody said, "You make me ping." And I was like, "What?" Like, he paused, and I guess he had lag, and he said, why you make me ping? And then he left without GG, and then he whispered something in Russian. And I was like, oh no, I have the feeling that this is going to be bad, but I'm very curious, so we're going to do this live on air. And I translate it. That was like the last thing I ever expected. It said, fucking wizard. And I was just
like
laughing.
you're using magic powers to lag his PC.
Yeah, I thought it was really
nice.
funny. All right, guys, so we have a 12 full speed opening, but Juanito is going to go for a Rex into factory, wall up on the low ground. First Reaper is out. I'm confused that this is the build that YoungYakov believes in, because these Zerglings are going to have an incredibly tough time killing this factory. And yeah, we can obviously expand and we can take the game from here, but he wants to kill, but can he get the kill realistically? That doesn't really seem doable. He's going to lose so many Zerglings. It's a good wall off by Juanito. If he would have built this factory like one square to the bottom, it would have actually had a lot of surface area for the links, and then it would have been cancelled. But yeah, right now Juanito's going to be loving life.
Yeah, and he's going to have a little bit of a window here where he can kind of continue to use this Reaper to poke away at the lings. YoungYakov does wisely kind of split them up and forces him to commit to one group or the other. Ling speed is about to finish here, so he does need to be a little bit careful. As it finishes, he will disengage, but the lings that were split off will come back and catch it. So a nice tiny little win for the Zerg in a game that feels uncomfortable right off the bat.
Yeah. What is surprising, though, is that obviously with this opening that SpeCial has gone for, his command center is a little bit late. I guess it's not very surprising. But I'm surprised with how healthy the drone count of YoungYakov already is. And this is not like a ZVP scenario, right, where the Zerg doesn't have Zergling speed and 2 adapts can actually shade to the other side of the map and kill 10 drones. Like, the man's got Ling speed, has 2 bases, is about to overtake SpeCial in workers. I guess that part is not that bad. The only real bad part is that I think the lair is going to be very late, and dealing with medevacs, whatever is inside of those medevacs, is always hard if you don't have a lot of queens and you don't have a lair.
Yeah, that's true. I think there's also a potential that if there's some kind of tech choice here from Juanito, and there is, right as I say that, the fusion core. I was going to say, you know, he did obviously pull the drones off of gas right after he got 100 to get that link speed. Drones are back on gas now, but I was a little concerned that, you know, if there's something like a Cloaked Banshee follow-up or something like that, that he might have trouble. And not quite Cloaked Banshees, but maybe a Battle Cruiser opener instead for SpeCial.
Yeah, and that has a lot of potential as well. If YoungYakov does not scout it, and it's incredibly hard to scout this, if you don't have a lair, you don't have Overlord speed, you don't have an Overseer. So yeah, if you just have a couple of queens, that first BC could be game ending, especially because you have to deal with a couple of Hellions that are in your face, a Cyclone that's in your face, that's going to force you to make more links. I mean, this BC is going to be very hit or miss. You know that I love a good BC opening, Bully.
There's probably not a bigger fan of the BC on this earth than Roddy. I've always said that. Yeah, the Cyclone Hellion harass also is really problematic to deal with, because obviously he is trying to catch up in the drone count, so he doesn't want to make too many lings here. He's been forced to, however. Ooh, losing that last queen especially is very painful here, because you look at the units tab and it's a single queen that's in the main.
He's going to Baneling Boss. I mean, that's maybe kind of cool, even though SpeCial's still going to build Hellions. If SpeCial keeps building Hellions, he's cooking. If he doesn't keep building Hellions, then maybe is a world where this Battlecruiser is forced to defend, right?
Yeah, I do not like the decision to full commit on this factory. He just throws away a lot of links for almost nothing. I mean, he can always repair this. He's not for some reason right now, but he can always repair this factory. The Baneling Bust is an interesting idea, but realistically, because it's a BC opener here from Juanito, if that doesn't work, he's in maybe the worst possible position he could ever be in, because all the gas is going to get spent on these Banelings. I mean, there's a Spore Crawler in the mineral lines for YoungYakov here, but that really is not going to do that much against a BC. It's just going to fly away, pick off units around on the periphery, and as it warps in here, it's going to take basically all the time it needs to peel off a few lings, a few drones here and there, and it's just going to be a lot of pain for YoungYakov here, who I think is going to try this Bane Bust, but not find much left.
No, because I think SpeCial just picked up on it as well. He saw that there are 3 bases, sure, but it's still just hatchery tech, and he also saw that a lot of Zerglings were produced. So at this point, Juanito's like, you're probably trying to either link flood me or Baneling Bust me, right? Something among those lines. He's gonna drop 2 mules as well. I mean, that's something I see all the time, buddy. 2 mules being dropped on the other side of the map to repair this battlecruiser all the way back to full health. YoungYakov is in a world of trouble. The numbers... Okay, I don't think that SpeCial should be doing this, by the way. If there is one way to lose, it's by sending all of the Hellions to the other side of the map. I thought he picked up on it.
I thought so too, but this really suggests that he didn't, as he crashes into this depot, and he's even got a few banelings left over that could maybe run into those Hellions, and they do. Oh no. Are we witnessing the counter throw here?
I don't know about that, because the Hellions are obviously still there. They're going to make their way home, and the BC is going absolutely mental in the main. YoungYakov is setting up a surround for the Hellions that he knows are out, but the Hellions have changed their mind again for the 3rd or 4th time in this game. And these Hellions just say, F it, let's go ahead and battle the Queens. I don't really care. I feel like my one BC at home is eventually going to clean up these links. Now YoungYakov is forced to send his Zerglings back to the other side of the map. What is happening in these games between them? I have no idea what's happening. What I do know is that a second BC has just teleported to the other side of the map, and that is a lot of firepower. Yamato is done as well. YoungYakov down to 14 army supply. He does have 3 queens popping real soon. Another mule gets dropped. 1 BC is above a score. What is happening?
Yeah, I just don't know that there's ever a world where you can dislodge the BCs at this point, because keep in mind this weakened one does have tactical jump available. There's queens being made slowly from the hatcheries. We're trying to desperately plant as many spore crawlers as possible, but you can kill spore crawlers much faster than they can be made. Oof.
The third one.
Are just going to get so much value.
Yeah, I think the third one is the GG BC, mate. Because that one can obviously fire Yamato as well at any target it may desire to do so. And the Yamato will set up for the queen. The other 2 BCs are going to have Yamato ready in the near future. GG gets called. Juanito takes the 2-0 lead. After YoungYakov, his 12 pull with a quick Zergling speed did not really work out. We go back to Europe for game 3. YoungYakov probably kicking himself with his best of 5 so far, and I'm sure that he expected many scenarios, but I don't think this was any of the scenarios that he had in mind, where game 1 is basically a win, somehow doesn't go his way, and in game 2 we died to 2 base BC. Ay.
A tough one. Another game where YoungYakov, I think, kind of maybe he has to feel a little confused as to how he ended up in the situations that he did. But I think the BC build on this map was an unorthodox choice, because it is such a small map that has kind of a tight main and natural, which is usually bad for BC harass, just because the distance for queens to travel is quite slow. But maybe that's sort of the thinking. Juanito thinks this is a map where I maybe am not expected to do this, and I'll leverage that to my advantage.
You know, the craziest thing is that YoungYakov actually left 12 or 14 links behind, let's say, at the triangle base of SpeCial, because he was expecting the Hellions to come back, and he's like, alright, then I can surround the Hellions immediately, because I've got links in his natural, and I've got these 12 links here. If he would have just sent all of those 12 links immediately, instead of killing like 15 SCVs, he's gonna kill almost every single SCV, and maybe then the game goes a whole lot better for him. But because he was expecting SpeCial to send them back, and they were on their way back, but then SpeCial changed his mind. He's like, nah, F it. Let's just go ahead and kill all the queens with BCs and Hellions and spam some mules on the other side of the map. Absolute craziness so far here in the main event. And it should have been bad for YoungYakov. It was bad. Then there was potential. Then it was bad. Then there was more potential. And then it was really bad in the end. And SpeCial takes the 2-0 lead. As we are back on the European server, we have not had a single 3-0 yet. Let's hope we don't start off in the final series of the night. Game 3. El Sione in the top right side. If you guys need some more StarCraft 2 after this very long day of StarCraft 2 that we've had already, we had the ESL Spring Regionals Asia playoffs. We had the ESL Spring Asia, Europe playoffs. And then we had the Big Brain Bouts as well. 3 series are done. This is the last one of the night. The main event of the Big Brain Bouts, number 57. Top right side, Platinum Heroes, YoungYakov. Uh-oh.
And in the bottom left, but quickly also the top side of the map, it is the yellow Terran player, El Campeón de México, El Campeón de los Toritos, SpeCial.
What are we doing with this SCV? a bit weird, no?
It is a little bit weird, yeah. Maybe going for some kind of 2-Rax Reaper play, maybe. It is, 2-Rax Reaper obviously is one of those builds that you can kind of mix in to throw the Zerg off. But if they know it's coming, it's relatively simple, I think, to deflect for an experienced and skilled Zerg like YoungYakov. So maybe just trying to lull him into a little bit of a false sense of security. But I'm curious as to how he's going to sell this, because surely if you get here and you see that the wall is open, you will know that something is... Yeah, that's what I'm thinking it might have to be. No, instead makes the depot first. So... yeah, we'll see what time YoungYakov scouts this, but I think there is a level of kind of selling this that needs to happen in order to fully get the value out of this decision, because obviously it is a big commitment to not have that SCV mining, to be making your second barracks across the map. So as this Overlord gets in, it's going to see this gap in the wall in about 2 seconds here. So there should be obviously a little bit of concern here from YoungYakov, I think.
Somebody asked quickly in the chat, what do overseers do when it hunkers down? More vision, question mark. Yeah, I do believe you get a tiny bit more vision, but the main reason why it's there is so if you press F2, the overseer does not move. And for the people who don't watch Starcraft all the time, F2 is the select all army hotkey. So every single Bennett unit you have out on the map, and that includes overseers, normally move when you press F2A move. But if you want to F2A move with all of your fighting units, but you want to leave an overseer in a certain place, that's where you can use that, we call it surveillance mode for observers. I don't know what the official term is for overseers, but yeah, we just kind of call it the anti-F2 button.
It's also nice, honestly, even if it's not an F2, even if it's just in your control group, that you can just plant it somewhere so that you don't, as you're kind of trying to maybe stutter step units or get a surround, you're not accidentally move commanding it, way past the units and getting in range of Marines, that kind of thing.
One Reaper is going to hop into a very awkward spot. SpeCial just wants to get this Queen as quickly as possible, and he gets the Queen, gets it mid-air even. 7 Zerglings, 1 Queen out on the map. A couple of drones will fall here, but needless to say, Juanito wants to get some damage done with an opening like this, because he did invest those resources into building a barracks on the other side of the map. This really does, to me, it kind of feels like old school Juanito, where he just cooks up all sorts of random weird openings. And everything is kind of connecting. Like, he's just finding exactly what he's looking for. He seems to be happy. He seems to be in a good place. And he's playing some really good Starcraft so far. He's not there yet. I still believe that YoungYakov can make this a very competitive and one hell of a series. And it's been a fun series so far. But yeah, we obviously don't want to see a trio. And I feel like there's no reason to assume it's going to be. But I am a bit worried. Because I feel like I'm looking at a Juanito who's hitting his stride. And that is always a very scary Juanito.
Yeah, I think earlier when I said that, Juanito seems to do well in these situations where the game kind of gets weird is the result of the fact that he's not afraid to just kind of send it in moments where maybe other players would be a little more hesitant. I think a lot of players would look at this series and say, okay, I've kind of played a more or less straight up series and I'm up 2 games. There's not really a reason for me to do anything different, right? But Juanito says, no, I'm just going to put the pressure on. I'm going to play a little aggressively. I'm going to kind of throw something your way that you don't think is going to be coming. And so far, it seems to have worked out, because I think you can certainly qualify this as kind of throwing the Zerg a little bit off balance. And as it relates to the Overseer ability, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's called Oversight.
Okay.
Is what it's called for Overseers.
That should be very hard to remember.
Yeah. So yeah, Oversight, I think, is what it's called on the Overseers.
Well, fair enough. Some of you guys are enjoying the commentary of Bully, and that makes me very happy. I know a lot of you guys were watching the ESL Spring Regionals earlier, but Bully is also an excellent StarCraft 2 player himself, and he did play in the first series of the night. So if you guys want to see how the man plays StarCraft, you guys can always go back into the VOD or take a look at the games on YouTube once they get posted. Another win. Are you now 3-0 in the Big Brain Bouts, Bully?
Yes, 1 against a Zerg, 1 against a Terran, and 1 against a Protoss.
Unbelievable. All right, next up is Yona, I think. So good luck.
I'll make you a deal. I will play Serral in the Big Brain Bouts if we can make half of the best of 5 arm wrestling.
Yona's pretty fit, mate. He's pretty strong. So I'd be scared if I were you.
We'll give him a few months in the military. Maybe he'll take. Maybe he'll take it.
Jona's gonna come back and he's gonna be bigger than a Spanish goat.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready for Serral's Slivko arc.
Slivko is a Russian Zerg player, guys, from the past, and Slivko was, you know, kind of a fit guy. Then he was gone for a couple months. He came back, and he was wearing the tightest shirt I've ever seen, and he was just bursting through the shirt. Like, I was like, oh my god, mate! Like, the Rock looked slim and out of shape compared to Slivko. I'm like, bro, he had the biggest chest I've ever seen. I was like, I don't know what we're taking, Slivko, but we need to slow down, mate.
I honestly, I don't remember who it was, but I think there maybe was it might have been an early WCS or something like that, but Slivko is playing, and one of the commentators goes, in the bottom left, wearing what looks like a latex glove, Slivko. Yeah, he loved those tight shirts.
I think Slivko also used to get a little upset. And I believe it's Naniwa who shared this story a long time ago. So we're going to have potential links around. Obviously, YoungYakov needs to be careful here. But TLDR real quick, because now I want to get it off my chest, is that Slivko lost the game at a DreamHack. He got so upset that he slammed the table. And the desktop was on the table. And he slammed the table so hard that the desktop actually fell off. And there was a crazy loud bang in the middle of the playing area. And everyone looked over like, what the hell just happened? And that was just Slivko smashing the desk in half. Like crazy old days of video gaming, guys. We've seen it all.
I would not want to be on the receiving end of a Slivko smash, that's for sure.
That desk didn't want to be either, but the desk had nothing to say about it.
Yeah, Slivko decides for you, unfortunately.
Exactly. Alright, we have a couple of banelings finishing up on the left side here. Baneling speed is very close to being done. Mixu pointed out in the beginning that the E-base were omega early for SpeCial. Kind of reminds me of how Flash used to play Starcraft 2, but Flash would do it with one barracks. SpeCial at least had two barracks, triple CC into double eBay. As he finds these stray lings and banes on the left side of the map as well. But YoungYakov, I do feel like, is starting to hit his comfort zone. He's got a lot of links, he's got a lot of banes. He's got queens moving forward. I don't think we should donate this queen. He's thinking of attacking the third base here. This is getting a little bit chaotic. I don't know who's surrounding who. I don't know who's flanking who.
Oh, really nice surround for YoungYakov. Yeah, as you were watching the fight in the middle, YoungYakov did get really good Bane hits on the army on the left side, which allows him to get a little bit more value here, but seeing the army kind of getting consolidated and a few Hellbats joining the fray here, he does have to retreat. Obviously, the Ling Bane is, you know, very mobile, can be used very effective defensively, but you really want to avoid taking those straight-up fights as often as you can, so wisely moving back, trying to buy some time for the next round of Banelings here, but Juanito's going to get a lot of value and cleaning this creep up, pushing the queens, eating up all that transfused energy, and as these Banelings finish...
I feel like they should have just gone immediately, because the Baneling count is actually very high, and we are so deep on creep, it is impossible for Juanito to micro his way out of this. He is forced to pick up a couple of units in the end. He's now thinking of unloading in the main, and that's exactly what he does. I mean, he saves some of the Marines, but he loses every Hellbat, he loses every Marauder, and he's just going to send the 5 additional medevacs home. And this is where that upgrade advantage can shine. YoungYakov is struggling, but I feel like he should be able to keep it together. The next wave of Terran units is already here though, and all those medevacs of the previous push are still around too. YoungYakov's got 17 Banelings. The man is going to need magical connections, otherwise this game is over, and that drop in the main base is still going strong as well.
He's attempting to counterattack at the same time, but that just means that the defense is going to be even more shoestring at the triangle third location. He's attempting to morph Banelings, but I just don't think there's going to be the time because this 2-2 bio is just so strong. Meanwhile, the army that is at the choke of the natural for Juanito will deter any run-by potential. And even as he drops here, the Banes will get a few hits, but because those units are dropping one at a time, there's really not even that much value in it. This just feels like he's just a few steps behind kind of at every turn in this last map because this feels like a 3-0 for Juanito more and more as every second goes by.
I think we can only draw one conclusion, and that is that NA is clearly the superior region. As a player that did not make it into the playoffs of the NA regionals is going to get a 3-0 here in the main event against a player that was awfully close to making it into the playoffs of Europe. YoungYakov is trying one last time, but so far off creep against so many well-upgraded Marines. I mean, the Lings and Banes do have +2 now as well, but I'm afraid it's a day late and $1 short. The Queens again are the last line of defense. Juanito's Marine Micro is excellent. The man was playing some Counter-Strike before the series started. And look at him go. All I see, Bully, are headshots. Queens are falling, Hydras are falling. And these final few Banes are simply not going to be enough.
Yeah, a tough series for YoungYakov, I think. You know, a couple of these maps certainly could have gone his way, especially map 1, obviously, I think feels like one that kind of got away from him. But against a very strong opponent, obviously no shame losing to SpeCial, but I think that there's a couple moments in this series that he'd like to get back.
Yeah, I think especially game 1, as you mentioned, he will be kicking himself for. He also said he felt it was a throw. It was a bit of a throw. But I didn't really feel like there was a reason to panic. YoungYakov's been so damn good lately, and I really thought that he was going to give SpeCial a very good run for his money. I don't think it was an easy series for SpeCial, but in the end, a 3-0 is a 3-0, and that is damn convincing. Well done to the man who unfortunately dropped out of the group stage in the ESL Spring America Regionals, but played awesome. Well done. You guys are asking for an interview. I'll see if I can do a tiny interview with Juanito. Damn it, I maybe should have asked him on Battle.net, but I can ask him. You want to stick around for an interview if he's down for it?
Yeah, absolutely. I can certainly do that.
Let's do it. I'll send him a little DM. I'll see if he's down, guys. If he wants to do it, we can do it. If he doesn't want to do it, we're going to wrap it up. All right, he says sure. Then I'm just going to go ahead and invite him immediately. He said sure only because DJ asked for it. Gotta mention it, though. We gotta mention it. It's because DJ, his Counter-Strike buddy and fellow Dutch Terran legend, asked him, Juanito is down for an interview. So I don't know how exactly I want to do this. Maybe I can just invite him here at Friends to DM. I don't know if he knew that you were casting with me, but I'm sure this will not be confusing. So let's leave that channel and start a call in the DM.
Sure, sounds good.
Let's see if this all works, guys. Unfortunately, no perfect night at the office. We did have a single 3-0, and it happened to be in the main event, but still very fun games, I think.
What's up?
Juanito. Hello.
Hi. How's it going?
Good. Do you have a camera as well, mate, or just microphone?
Yeah, I can put my camera 1 sec.
Yeah, the people want to see Juanito.
Let me just set it up. Give me one.
All right, all good, matey. Does it work for you, by the way, Bully?
Yes, also works.
All right. Whoa, look at those guns, mate. I thought we left those guns behind in Counter-Strike. What happened?
I don't know, bro. Whatever. They come everywhere, bro. They come everywhere.
Sick, mate. Congrats on the 3-0. I know it's been a tough time for you in Starcraft 2. Do you want to talk about it a little bit, or you just want to talk about the games?
I can talk about anything. It doesn't bother me.
All right.
I don't care. Anything is fine.
I mean, I think a lot of the StarCraft 2 fans were obviously very surprised to see you drop out in the group stage in the Swiss format. You're normally a guy that goes all the way, grand finals, top 3. I cannot remember for the life of me that in a regional tournament you did not make it into the absolute final stages. So what do you want to say about all of it?
I mean, I had a very unfortunate lose against Future and Nina. So the 2-2 and 2-3. I mean, the match 4 and 5 per se, right? So I don't know. I feel like I used to see them play like. So I was practicing very hard actually. To my most capabilities, and I usually didn't play well. I had very silly mistakes and stupid things I did, and I ended up losing those 2 series. So I just lost, which is sad because I really wanted to go to Dallas. So especially because all my CS friends are going there, so kind of sucks.
Who are those CS friends?
I mean, they can, especially they can. It's Kawayan, Warren. The NA gang.
Yeah. You ever play with
My
Coco or no?
Yeah, of course I play with Coco. She now you know what she says. She said since they just added those 2 back to the map, well, she's like, this weekend is CS weekend. So.
All right. Obviously, congrats, mate, on the win and the $150 here for winning in the Big Brain Bouts main event. Even though it was a 3-0, I think there were some very fun games. First game was proper wild. Did you have any hope left, or did you feel like you were on that hopium and you were just trying to make the best of it?
You mean after he killed my SCVs?
After the massive run by.
I had a question actually because I had like this build theorized, but I never really tried it. But was I in a decent position before that? Like, or was I not?
I don't think
So
so. No, I was not
not
really feeling it.
no, me neither. Like I used I did it once on the ladder. I'm like I don't know, it might have potential, but yeah, I was in Hopium, but I know he had no creep because that's something I did really well. So it was like my only chance, to keep finding up creep. I don't know, meals, I guess.
Bully, any questions for Juanito about the games? Anything you want to ask?
Juanito, felicitaciones. How do you feel about the map pool? I know every single Terran obviously is saying that it's pretty strong, and I think watching your vetoes in the pre-match kind of indicated that you tend to think that there are a couple maps that are not ideal for Terran, but I think YoungYakov's vetoes are the sort of classic maps, like Dynasty, for example, that are just Zergs are really struggling to play on. Is there any map that you feel like is the sort of must veto for Terran right now? Because I struggle to think of maps that I feel like are very, very weak for Terran right now, in this matchup at least.
And SpeCial, before you answer, sorry,
Uh-huh.
SpeCial, to interrupt you. Reynor is in the chat and he says, "Say the truth, Papi. No bullshit here."
Well, this depends on the matchup, right? Like, is it matchup dependent, or are we talking like in general?
I think particularly for TVZ right now, how do you feel about it?
I mean, for TBC particularly, I think if you had to veto one for sure, I think it's probably Golden Aura, because I do think Zerg has an advantage on the map. And other than that, I've never been that big of a fan of Alcyon, but that's just my style thingy. So I think, yeah, the map pool definitely is good for Terran right now against Zerg. I don't think it's good against Protoss. It's a little bit of a scam against Protoss.
Why? What makes it a scam?
It makes it a scam in the way that how to say, how the game now pans out because all the balance tweaks. Like, even if the map is really favored for Terran, let's say, we have to be like really one-sided, like something crazy. Like, you just end up in like a hard position anyway. So that's why I don't think like it matters too much the map these days. It has to be like really, really one-sided in my opinion. I think TVP right now is really rough. Like, I'm not even capping.
What do you think about that, Bully?
No, I think I think it's a new meta for Terrans to adjust to, having lost a little bit of the strength of the mines. Especially late game, ranged liberators kind of are not as reliable as they used to be as well. There's not as many very, very secure positions you can get yourself into. So it does feel like Terrans need to go into the late game kind of being comfortably ahead, as opposed to trying to scrape out value in the late game to kind of even things up. So I think that's probably fair. I think if I was going to guess, Alcyone would have been the map that maybe Terrans are the least excited about, because obviously the gold bases make it a little tough. Not as many positions to abuse. So I think that's a fair take.
Yeah, I think if this was the balance patch of the last map pool, I think Terra will struggle a lot against both Protoss and Zerg. You know what I mean?
You think it would have been worse against Zerg, but about the same against Protoss?
No, it will also still be worse. Like, the maps are a little bit better for Terra than the last one, but still not good enough to make it like a really something like, say, there's a Terran map against Protoss specifically.
Well,
I don't know if it makes any sense. I don't know if it makes any sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
We're catching your drift. I want to ask you quickly about Game 2 as well, where you got the job done with the battle cruisers. Obviously, YoungYakov had a surprising opening, went for a 12 pool, had pretty quick link speed as well. Were you surprised to see that, or did you expect something like that coming out of him?
I thought he was going to go like something like Roaches, but since he did 12 pool, like, I was not going to go BC this map, but since I saw 12 pool, and then I scanned and I see he's not going Roaches, I'm like, his economy is too weak. Like, BC is like a free win. Yeah, it kind of was like a free win.
You sent out the Hellions, though, when I really didn't think that you were going to send out the Hellions, because I thought that you knew it was going to be either a Link Flood or a Banelink Bus, something along those lines. But you still decided to move out with all the Hellions, which made it a tiny bit scary, perhaps. Why did you send them out?
I don't know. I'm bad.
Just didn't really think about any potential danger on your side of the map, or?
You thought like there was no chance. Well, there was very hard to lose this game because the first BC already did a lot of damage. Plus, I repaired it fully with the mule, so it's like, that's what you try to finish the game, That was a little bit my thought process. Like I thought that losing this game was close to zero chance, even if he does a lot of damage, because he would be really hard to stop the VCs, right? And which it ended up being.
Third game, I think, was a very clean one, but I felt like he played very well. He went for the 2-Rex Reaper into mega quick double eBay, triple CC double eBay. Is that a Juanito special, or did you see some other Terran do that?
I saw Cure long time ago do something similar, but like he did like 3CC just blindly greedy, and I'm like, well, what if I do the same, but I have a barrack scouting to make sure I don't die? So that's basically my thought process. And since I did a lot of damage early on, and I saw his drone count was not that great, I just decided to go like all in behind it, like 8 Rexes. Like I knew it was gonna be very hard to stop it. It kind of was, I think.
Gotta feel good though to get a 3-0 over YoungYakov, who I think is one of the better Zergs in Europe. 2 out of 3 games on the European server as well. It's gotta feel nice, right? To get a little confirmation that Juanito still got it, Papi still got it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that bad, but I used really underperformed the last tournament, and like I play on the ladder in the Europe. I play with ping. It's just very annoying to play with like 160 ping every game. It's not easy to practice, and I don't play bad. I win a lot of games and stuff. So it's just like I really just underperform the tournament, and I have to do well in the qualifiers. The Saudi Arabia ones, those ones are like my goal right now, which should happen sometime.
So you said you were playing some Counter-Strike before the matches. You're not gonna tell me that you didn't watch Bully play some epic NA PvP earlier tonight on my stream, did you?
I was busy playing with the can. The can was like get on CS. I drop you some dualies, and here I am. I was in my CS game. Sorry, I missed it.
No. You didn't. You made the right choice. I think. I think CS with can comes over everything.
Yeah.
All right, Juanito, is there anything else you want to share with the people that are currently listening and still watching?
Hello?
Discord?
You're just gonna keep playing, see what happens for the Saudi Arabia tournament. I'm still playing, I'm still trying my best, and we'll see what happens. I'm gonna keep playing and see, Starcraft 2 esports is a little bit rough spot, but we work with what we have, right? Like, so it is what it is, for me at least.
All right. Thank you so much for accepting the invite and obviously putting on a great performance tonight against YoungYakov. I appreciate it, Juanito. Good luck with all that CS with the Canman, DJ, Warren, Coco.
Yeah.
Don't take my boy Trigger too much, okay? He needs to win a couple games in WTL Codes.
I think he plays with Clem.
With Clem? All right.
Yeah.
Hopefully, that skill of Clem that just carries over. And then it's very contagious, and Trigger absorbs all of it. I can live with that.
Hopefully. All right. Well, thank you so much for inviting, and I'll be around if anything's needed.
Yeah. Thank you, Juanito. Bye-bye. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Bye, you too.
All right. We'll let Juanito go. Bully made you did a great job today. You obviously got a nice win in the first series of the night. We tried to talk about it a couple of times, but every single time we tried to talk about it, there was just stuff happening in these other video games. Damn it. Is there anything else that you wanted to share about your PvP, or maybe about the cast that you did for me with me in Series 3 and 4?
No. I think it was a lot of fun. Especially in the next couple of weeks, I've got some stuff going on that will make it a little bit more difficult even than it has been to play StarCraft. So this was a good event to get in and play a nice show match. And I appreciate you having me on as well for the rest of the cast. I see Reynor saying that the Hongdae streets are calling my name. So I just want to throw this out there that if anyone has $3,000 that they would like to send to my PayPal so I can fly to Korea and waste all of your money on Somek in the club with Reynor, I'm going to take one for the team and accept that. So really, though, I do appreciate it a lot. Obviously happy to play against a Spanish goat. So a very good opponent, a lot of fun, and just thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Caspada asking, are you Minnesotan? I'm originally from the Black Hills in South Dakota, but yes, I am a Minnesota boy.
Yeah, we called you from Wisconsin all night long, and I figured you didn't.
I'm sure. Wait, let me guess. Is he from Minnesota or Wisconsin? Who knows? Who cares? They say there's a difference. There's not really a difference. By the way, did you guys know that this guy's like CTs? Also speaks Korean. Also, what an asshole.
No, I didn't say the last part, but the first 5, yeah, you nailed it. That's me, mate. I'm an AI.
That's what I thought.
All right, Bully, you did a great job tonight, mate. Enjoy your victory. Good luck with everything in real life, and I'm sure we'll see you on the stream somewhere on the ladder. Thanks, mate.
I'm sure. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care, matey. I mean, you kind of summed it up perfectly. Those are all the things that I said about him. All right, guys. That is going to do it for the BASILISK Big Brain Bouts number 57. It was a long day of StarCraft. We had some co-streaming. Tomorrow is King's Day in the Netherlands. I'm going to give a big shout out to RazorTO. I kept on forgetting that. I highly doubt that my man RazorTO is still here. He's not here anymore, but he gifted me 10 buckies saying get some beers for King's Day. I don't think I'm going to go anywhere, but maybe we'll have a beer at home, amigo. So I'll see if I can put those to good use. I appreciate it. A special Mexican Terran player was the winning outcome. And that is all I got for tonight. We co-streaming tomorrow. Hell yeah, we co-streaming tomorrow, mate. We're going to play a couple other games. We're going to co-stream. We're going to drink some beers. We're going to sing at Wilhelmus. You know, there is no F1 this weekend, so there needs to be a place where you guys can listen to Het Wilhelmus. I'm sure you guys will miss it if you like F1. So yeah, we're going to absolutely do that.
Hoe voelt het om...
Let's see if we can end with the Dutch anthem. It was a good night. It was fun. I had a really good time, actually. Thank you, Dave, for the 200 biddies. Thank you so much. Congrats to Fjant for winning an absolute clown fiesta of a best of 5. I feel like it's better without singing. Wilhelmus van Nassau instrumental, the proper F1 experience. For King's Day, guys. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I feel like we had a great night. I'm gonna go ahead and send you guys over to... Shall I do Cell or shall I do Trigger? Trigger is doing a 12-hour stream. And he's only been live for 4, so I think that Trigger is a great host today. Let's go ahead and show some love to my boy. Apparently they're trying to corrupt him with Counter-Strike. Tell him to be strong, guys. And tell him to not participate too much in all of these Counter-Strike shenanigans with the NA crew. Bye. Appreciate all of you. Hope you have a great weekend. See you guys tomorrow again if you're going to stop by. Bye-bye. Be nice to Trigger. And good night. As a wise man once said, Damda. And good night. Bye-bye.